I like that, Brad. That is a very good or very important thing to note. The way you framed that, it is exactly it. We don't fail. We screw up and we learn and we move on. It's exactly it. They're opportunities, chances for solutions, just like you said. That was very, very well put. My cheat code for planning. My cheat code is just like I said. It seriously is asking why and just exhausting until I feel well enough prepared and I feel I've fulfilled all the questions I have. I just ask questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, I think is the one of the famous sayings or something like that. But yes, proper planning leads to knowledge growth. That is exactly it. It forces you to ask questions. If you're going to plan for something, you're going to ask questions. You're going to look for different solutions. That's another thing. Look at planning trips. If you don't plan, you just show up somewhere, you're going to book the first place you get. It might not be the cheapest or even the best option. That maybe it's not even necessarily about price. It just might be some dump that you end up in because you don't know any other options. But if you take the time to plan and look and see where you're going, you can pick what's best suited for you. Yes, proper planning prevents poor performance. Ooh, say that too fast. Brad, what are some different ways that you prepare for a project or you plan for different projects? Do you hold meetings beforehand? Do you hold meetings beforehand with your team and go over anything? Do you take input from your team before you launch something? I think that's something that's important. Anybody that leads a team or is in charge of anybody, deals with anybody else, get feedback when planning for something. That's awesome, Brad. That's exactly how you should be handling it. You're empowering your team to better handle the issues in the future. And I will bet as your teams grow and learn, they probably call you less and less and less, and you have nothing to do. That's exactly how it should be. Our goal is to, as a leader, is to get yourself replaced. Or yeah, you're trying to build your replacement. Not that it will ever happen, but that's what your goal is. You're empowering your team around you in order to get them to be able to handle anything that's thrown at them. Spot on, Jen. Spot on. That is critical when planning for something. Get input. Unless it's something you're doing on your own, if you're doing it with anybody else, don't just tell them what's going on. Get their input, get their feedback, and use it. Whether it's planning a family event or doing a task at work, use the feedback and advice given to you from the people around you. They more than likely know better than you do. Same thing with your family. If you're taking them on a vacation and you don't ask some of them what they want to do, chances are they're going to have a crappy time and not enjoy it and not want to keep doing these things with you. And as a family, that's not what you want. It's important to get your team's feedback. That team could be your children, your spouse, it could be your coworkers. Regardless, like Jen said, it is very important to get your team's feedback. Improvement, growth, learning, knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing is huge to growth. Okay, so a way for you to plan was to just observe, is what you're saying, Jen. You observed for a couple of weeks to figure out what the issues were, and then that while you're sitting there observing, you're also able to go, okay, I start to see strengths, I start to see weaknesses, and these are things I can do. So you're planning and preparing while observing. That's good. Nice. I like that, Brad. How can you how could you automate that more to reduce the burden on you? Yep, exactly. Yeah, you start to learn your team's strengths and weaknesses, and you're kind of able to predict what they're going to run into. A lot of times it's pretty crazy how that starts to happen. It's it's so much fun. Leading teams is so much fun. Getting to know their quirks and how to motivate them, and it's so much fun. Spurring that the mindset that you have and getting other people to adopt it and not be forced to do it, but for them to want to do it. So rewarding. That is another challenge to only having one person. It's hard to read comments and keep commentary going. I can't read and talk at the same time. That's almost impossible. Yes, celebrating. Celebrating wins, no matter how big or small they are, is very, very important. The team needs to know you've got their back. Val, how are you?